obviously there are times where transition might be right. It might be the time to move cities or move jobs or even move churches.
Right.
What if you start, Pastor Wayne, answering that question? How do you know when it is time to make a move?
I think the first thing, a primary thing, is when this is for people that do spiritual work, people that are involved in church leadership and so on. When you feel the grace is lifted off of you, it's probably time to transition. What I mean about that, there's a certain grace that God gives us all that are working in ministry context to do your job effectively. Some people might call it an anointing. I think it's more of a grace, this kind of thing that you feel joy, even with challenges, that you can get frustrated at times, but you feel a certain ability to get to be dutiful, to do your job and to do it well. When it starts becoming such a grind, because grinding is amazing for scaling an organization, but when it becomes, this is a weight to me, this is a burden to me, that I am looking for ways out, or I just don't feel the natural ability to do that anymore. Whether that's writing a sermon feels tedious, whether that's checking in kids on a Sunday feels tedious, whether that is leading your team, and it's just like, I just don't have the energy and the drive. And this is not for people that are just overworked and fatigued. This is just a general feeling like, man, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks and we've had 3 vacations this year, and I still just don't really feel a grace. When a grace is lifted off of you, I think it's time for you to start to get.
That's what I was going to ask, is when does it cross over from like it's just a hard season, or you're just tired, or you're just frustrated, to like, the whole grace is lifted? Because you can have a bad week and feel like the grace is lifted, but it really might have just been a bad week, and maybe you are tired. How do you know how long does it have to be before you're like, okay,
even a bad season?
Yeah, right.
I think when you start despising what you do, it's the grace is lifted off you. Like, I've talked to pastors that have hated pastoring in people. The people that you're called to lead, you become extremely cynical, negative for an extended period of time. You despise what God has given you to do.
Would you recommend maybe you take if you've been going hard, maybe you take an extended break before you uproot, maybe?
100%. I don't think you say, the grace is lifted, I'm gone. I think you have to do some, you have to have some protocols, right? Like, there's some counseling, maybe
get an email.
It's like the little kid.
The subject of the grace has lifted. The subject of the email.
It's like the little kid in that meme or that video. It's like, I don't like this church.
I'm tired of this church.
I'm tired of this church.
Tired of this church.
March off, right?
Pass
the mic to somebody.
I'll be honest. There have definitely been seasons where I was so tired. I think we're going to do a lesson or an episode on leading tired. There have definitely been seasons where I was so tired, and mentally, when you can go on a vacation for 6-7 days and get rested physically, it takes a little longer to get reset and rested mentally. So there have definitely been seasons where I was so tired mentally that I did despise sermon preparation. And I would not have known in those seasons. I don't think I could have made the decision that the grace has lifted because I was so exhausted.
I think it's a more significant. Yeah, but I think a grace lifting off you is more significant, where you realize that the season of your life has shifted in the role that you are currently in, that I am no longer. Yes. So for instance, a grace can lift off of you when you know you're not supposed to be a youth pastor anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm still called to do ministry. Sure. To serve people, but serving young people, I don't have a grace for it anymore.